then they thought maybe we needed a different producer, and they tried a couple of different things, and we never had the success at radio that we had with Ricky producing. We did some really good records, some good sounding songs, but
sure.
But I think not only changing Ricky, but as a producer, but I think the radio market was changing at the time too. The country music had kind of grown away from the kind of stuff that we were doing, and
it was becoming not country music anymore.
Well,
I'll put it bluntly. I'll say it.
The choir.
So,
like a runaway horse.
So, Buck, I was wondering, many, as we've said, of the Whites' country material prominently featured, and it seems to be driven by your honky-tonk piano style playing. And so I was wondering, was it you who mainly arranged most of the material? Was that sort of a group process?
Well, around the house, we did that. Yeah, when we get to the studio, naturally you got somebody that we would concentrate on singing, but the producer suggests a certain ways of doing things, and
there was nobody that knew us better than Ricky, and he knew Dad's talents. He'd played on the road with us. He knew live what the best way for us to present a song, and a lot of times it involved Dad playing.
Well, I always loved the fiddle, and I always loved the steel, I always loved the piano, and to me, we would never were a bluegrass band, what you'd say hard grass,
Sure.
We were a little down off to the side with our music, because it was a man's music. I started to come back to that again, and girls coming into it, they did fine with it, and it was something that the women all liked, I'm sure. But the piano just had to find its place in there, and you ought to hear that piano. Well, playing with a bluegrass band, it's really something now. Different.
I bet. And I was going to ask you, do you consider achieving Opry member status in 1984 to be a milestone of your careers?
Well, I think so, yes.
Oh, yes.
That was a dream come true. Yeah, my mother listened to the Opry, and I did too when I was just barely in school, starting to school. She had that thing going, and so I listened to it off and on all my life. And I loved those old guys like Acuff, and and I loved that good fiddle music, and I loved it all, really. And
so, do you remember who inducted you? That's my favorite question to ask a lot of the Opry folks, because some don't remember and some do.
Oh my!
Oh yeah, we asked for Mr. Acuff to do that.
I had wondered if it was Mr. Acuff, because
a request.
I knew that he loved your music.
Somebody in my house here just walked in here, and I didn't know he was here, and he didn't know I was. Maybe he did.
Well, I tried to get his attention and tell him not to go down there, but he's snooping around. He lives here. I guess he can if he wants to.
I guess he can.
Would that be Ricky Skaggs?
That would
be
he Paul.
Walked in this room, scared me. There was a guy in here, and there he was. I was bent over, and if it hadn't been for his hair, I wouldn't recognize him.
The great Ricky Skaggs. I'd love to have Ricky come on the program and be interviewed.
You want to say a few words?
At some point.
He's going to come on for a minute or two, okay?
Oh, wow, that's great.
Oh, hello.
Hi, Mr. Ricky Skaggs. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Who's this?
Meet Paul Joyce.
Hey, Paul Joyce.
From New Hampshire. I had the honor to see you perform about a month or so back at Vince Gill's Country Music Hall of Fame colon cancer benefit.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
That was great.
Yeah.
And it's actually perfect timing that you happen to appear at this moment, because I was just about to ask the Whites about their new album that was released with you, Salt of the Earth. And you produced that album, didn't you, Ricky?
Well, it was definitely a joint effort. I mean, the Whites helped as much as I did. Their thumbprint is all over that record, and they knew what they wanted to sing and how they wanted things to go, and it was a thrill to get to work with them. I didn't work for them; I worked with them. It was great. It was really I think that's the reason that it sounds different than just a Ricky Skaggs record, is because the Whites, handprints are all over it.
And you won a Dove Award for that, correct, all of you?
Yeah, we did win a Dove Award for that, and a Grammy.
A Grammy, too. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And so how did you go about deciding which great gospel songs you were going to record on that album?
Well, Buck and the girls, all three, knew what they wanted to do. They knew some songs that it was timed, it was like their opportunity had come where they could do a record that they've wanted to do for a long time, and they just had some favorites picked out that for a long time that they'd wanted to do.
We've done lots of records, and we've been on Ricky's records. He'd produced a lot of our records, but we had never done a project all together that was a joint effort that way. And so we just took full advantage of it. We did songs that we had always wanted to do together, and we did do a few new ones, but we just had a wonderful time putting that record together.
I have to tell you, that is such a wonderful record, and as Ricky said, such a fresh new look at music today.
Well, thank you.
Well, we love it, and maybe one of these days we could get a chance to do a volume 2, because this has done well, and people received it so well. I love getting to sing with the Whites. It's just it's a great family sound, and being able to, maybe the next one we could incorporate more of our children into it, because Rachel, Cheryl's daughter, is a great singer, and we get to do things on Skaggs Family Christmas. And
we've actually done
Sure.
one record with our kids, the Skaggs Family Christmas Volume 1,
Yeah.
and has Rachel on it, and Molly and Luke, our children, and
I met Molly once backstage at the Opry with you guys.
I think you did.
I think we need to try to see that you get those records, Paul. The Christmas
yes,
record, and
we've played a lot of your music, and I have to tell Ricky that I always close every one. I'm a singer too. I always close every one of my shows with "Crying My Heart Out Over You" with my harmony vocalist singing along.
Wow.
That's great. Yeah, he's a real country singer, Rick.
That's a great,
Wow.
that's a great tribute.
He loves it.
Yeah. Well, that's really something to close a show with. Paul.
It's a great tune.
Well, that's great. Well, I appreciate that very much. Well, I'm going to let you talk back to Mr. White here and put him back on, because I know he's probably got lots more to say, and I'll get out of his way down here. So.
Well, it was a great surprise to have you on the program. Love to have you back for a full in-depth interview at some point.
Okay. All right, Paul. Well, God bless you, buddy. Well, here's
Thank
Buck.
you. You too.
Okay.
Mr. Buck.
That'd be a pleasant surprise for you, wasn't it?
It was. It was a wonderful surprise.